Next is
सर और
internet
दो
layer.
याद नहीं आ रहे.
Next है internet layer, that is analogous to your network layer, and next is host to network layer. Means if I draw this like this, host to network layer, okay. Then internet layer is basically your network layer. Network layer of ISO-SI reference model. This one is your transport layer. And above all, you have the application layer. Still, it's a very good attempt, Pranav. I'm very happy that you have you at least could answer. Now, in case of ISO is a reference model, how many layers have we have? In ISO is a reference model. Vivash, can you answer? Ayush, can you answer? My screen is not visible to you, student. My screen is not visible to you.
Sir, it is visible, sir.
It is visible only. Okay, I think Pranav, you check that with my name and Sajal Shah, you'll find out another screen. So click on Sajal Shah only. So that case you will find my screen. Okay.
हेलो
Now,
सर.
yeah, bolo.
सर अभिषेक अंकुर ये मतलब लॉबी में है अभी भी सर, वो ज्वाइन करने का कोशिश कर रहे हैं लेकिन सर ज्वाइन नहीं हो पा रहे सर.
So let them try. It will take some time for them. For the first time they are doing, na, so they may face some problem. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, so Arindam, can you tell me how many layers are there in ISO as a reference model? You should answer this one. Kaushik, can you tell me how many layers are there in ISO as a reference model?
Sir, it's 7 layers, sir.
Okay, can you tell me?
Sir, I think it's one. First one is the application layer, then presentation layer, uh, and
Application,
application
presentation,
transport. Sorry, sir. Application presentation, then session layer,
presentation.
transport layer, network layer, and physical layer. I think, and one more. I
Layer,
forgot, sir.
network layer, and data link layer,
Sir, data link layer, yes.
and physical layer.
And physical layer.
So it should always be in your mind that how many layers are there. Okay. So this is a basic question that a computer engineer should be asked. If you cannot answer this basic question, they are not going to talk to you in any condition. Okay. So these are the basic things that you must have to remember. Okay. Now, in case of IoT also, few of the layers will take and the functionalities or the protocols in different layers will also may get changed. So before that, we need to know that what are the enabling technologies of IoT. What are the enabling technologies of IoT? Now, as you can see, that RFID. So and then auto ID is not that much important. IoT, then okay, fine. Then RFID, CMOS. Okay. Now, do you know what is RFID? Do you have any idea what is RFID? RFID is radio frequency identification. Radio frequency. So there will be one RFID chip will be there. If we put that RFID chip, then we can identify, and in that respective RFID chip, we can store the information about the product. in some of the product you may find out that it is connected with the RFID chip. So that suppose in the departmental store or in Spencer's or in Pantaloons or in Big Bazaar, or in Reliance cloth store, so you'll find out that all your clothes are connected with an RFID tag. So that if you try to go out without paying the bills, then immediately as the RFID tag is moving to a certain distance, immediately it will buzz out, so that they will come to know that you are trying to take out this cloth or item without paying the bill. And whenever you go for paying the bill, immediately what they will do that after the bill payment, they will remove the RFID tag, so that you can take this cloth to your home easily. So this technology is one of the technology which helps us to go into the IoT. Okay, and also the ITU. ITU means ITU is the International Telecommunication Union. So it's a basic fundamental union which is responsible for taking care of. Sorry, it's the which is responsible in taking care of the your IoT and the other whatever technologies we are using. Even telephony, wireless telephony, wireline telephony. So they set up all the protocols and they set up all the standardization. Why this ITU or International Standard Union is required? International Telecommunication Union is required. Suppose if somebody is making a mobile or a telephone in Europe, and somebody is making a telephone or creating, manufacturing the telephonic device or the mobile device in suppose South America. Now, whatever they are making in Europe or whatever they are making in the South America, they are not in communication with each other. So their format of making this device might be different with the format who are making in the South America. Now, whatever call you are making from South America, they will make the call with their own devices, and when this call will come and reach to you at Europe, you may not be able to decipher it, and your call will get dropped. So there should be some interoperability. Means everybody must have to maintain one standard, so that if I am making it in South America in some technology, that should matches with the technology which through which I am making it Europe, or that should matches with the technology which I am making it in Japan. So that comparative compatibility issues must have to be maintained. You got my point? So this International Telecommunication Union has standardized this IoT in 2005, but that time it has not been devised in a proper way. That time IoT concept was not there. So this slide is basically to check out what are the technologies earlier was there, and those technologies are coming together and created this IoT platform. Next technology is the barcode. I think most of you know the barcode and barcode scanner. Can anyone briefly tell me what the basic functionality of barcode scanner? Any one of you? बारकोड आप लोगों ने देखा ना, बहुत सारा टैग में रहता है, कपड़ा में रहता है बारकोड. Even all the items they have the barcode, and if they scan the barcode, then immediately the item details and price and everything will come. Yes or no? Please be interactive. Tell me.
सर देखा तो है, लेकिन से एप्लीकेशन पता नहीं, मतलब कैसे काम करते हैं वो पता नहीं है सर.
कैसे काम करता है means it's nothing else but what they do that in the barcode scanner there is a strip line you can see, right? Now whenever what they do that they put some LED light, not LED light, it should be laser. So they put some laser into it. So when they put some laser, based on the length of the line, those lasers are getting reflected. Some of the laser light will get reflected, some of the laser light will get refracted. So based on the reflection and refraction, so we can identify what is written in this line. Suppose this line's meaning is that, suppose this long line meaning is 1, this long line meaning is 5, this short line meaning is 6, this short line meaning is 8. So each of the line has its own meaning, which can be identified using the laser beam reflection and refraction. And from that I would come to know that, okay, so when I'm scanning this line, I am getting this result 1568234. Now this number is stored in a database. Against this number, some product value, product characteristics, everything is written over there. From that we can come to know that what is that product actually and what is its price. So that will help us. Otherwise in Big Bazaar you can see that if we don't have the barcode scanner, or if the product is not readable through the barcode scanner, we have to put it manually. So putting it manually is a time consuming process and also erroneous also. So it can create some error. एक प्रोडक्ट दिया, दूसरा प्रोडक्ट का वैल्यू आ गया, इस प्रोडक्ट का वैल्यू है 40 rupees, but the other number, due to the other numbers and the wrong entry in the product ID, so I have been deducted with 400 rupees. So for that the barcode scanner is very helpful to read and identify the product ID and identify the product description very quickly.
Okay, sir.
Kaushik, got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are the other technologies? Other technologies are smartphone. Because to enable my IoT devices and to get the data, so smartphone has a very crucial role, because through smartphone you can acquire the data and you can relay the data to the cloud. And for that, cloud is also another enabling technologies which comes into picture. And the most important technology is the WSN, wireless sensor network. I think this semester you have wireless sensor network also. You have this subject. Students, आप लोगों को ये सब्जेक्ट है क्या इस सेमेस्टर में? Please be responsive. Pranav, do you have the subjects in this semester? Hello? While I am talking about wireless sensor network, is this subject is there in this semester? Okay, no. I think it will be there in the 8th semester. Okay, fine. So wireless sensor network is basically sensor node. I think here, if I draw this one, you have several nodes. These are the IoT nodes also basically. Now, if I put the IoT nodes in some battleground or in some places, how these IoT nodes will talk with each other, communicate with each other, and create a network within themselves. They will create a network within themselves. This network is not under the vicinity of your 4G network or 3G network. Whatever 3G network or broadband network you get, broadband network or 4G network you usually get, so that is called infrastructure based network. Infrastructure based network. Okay. So that is an infrastructure based network. But if I put some sensors within a particular place, suppose in a field I put it all those sensor nodes over there. Now each of the sensor nodes has its own IP address. Each of the sensor node has its own IP address. Now, if I have the IP address, all the nodes have their own IP address, then through that IP address, easily I can communicate with each other. They will create a local area network. They will create a local area network among themselves. Local area network among themselves and try to pass the information among themselves. Now, what is the use of passing information among themselves? Because suppose out of this all the nodes, one of the nodes which will act as the cluster head, they will act as the cluster head. His job is to collect all the information from the other nodes and then it will send it to the base station. It will send it to the base station. Now the base station will be connected with your infrastructure network. Through this, I can collect the information from the wireless sensor node which are placed in an infrastructure less place and it will collect the information and it can send it to the infrastructure based network place. This is not an IoT because in case of IoT, your embedded technology is also involved, but it is one of the enabling technologies of IoT. Earlier, 20 years back, we had the wireless sensor network concept where the IoT was not coined. This is a term actually coined, which is basically integrating all those services like your wireless sensor network, your barcode scanning, then your RFID, then your IoT, ITU enabled IoT, whatever is been written over there. So they have integrated everything to created this IoT. They have coined this IoT term. Now back to 20 years ago, how this wireless sensor network helps us in different aspects. What was their application? During the Gulf War, not during the Gulf War, during the Taliban when war with Afghanistan, US war with Afghanistan, you can remember that war I think started in back in 2011, 2001 when the September 7/11 has occurred. Na? So that time they need to find out where Osama bin Laden was there. So that time most of the Taliban people try to infiltrate over the Pakistan border. Suppose if this is the Afghanistan border and they try to infiltrate through the Pakistan border, to escape from the US Army. Now this Afghanistan-Pakistan border area is totally unsecured border. There is no fencing, nothing else here. The people can infiltrate easily. So and US cannot have their direct control. What they have done that they put some pressure sensor node over there. They put some pressure sensor node over the border area, and they have not put it manually. What they have done through helicopter or through aeroplane, they have sprayed the wireless sensor nodes across the border, and now the pressure sensor nodes are active. When they get a pressure, when they sense a pressure which is equivalent to one human person's weight, so immediately it is sending the information to the nearest base station, which is connected with your 4G net. So that time 4G network was not there. That time 2G network was there. So they are sending the information to the nearest base station so that they come to know from the remote monitoring location that the people are infiltrating towards the Afghanistan to Pakistan border, and that time they are asking help from the Pakistan government that please stop those people. So that time this was one of the applications that popular applications of wireless sensor network which has been created by the US Army. So another application is also there in the Mount Fujiyama. Have you heard about Mount Fujiyama? Mount Fuji? How many of you are aware about Mount Fuji? Where it is located? Mount Fuji. Actually, Fuji spelling should be F-U-J-I. Let me check your IQ, in, your quiz knowledge.
Sir, in Japan.
Very good. कौन बोला?
Sir, मैं दिगंत.
दिगंत very good. At least दिगंत को से एक आंसर मिला है. Now why Mount Fuji is popular? Can you tell me? Huh? Why Mount Fuji is popular?
Sir, due to volcano, I think.
Yes. Mount Fuji is the world's one of the active volcano. Most dangerous, most fatal active volcano. And due to Mount Fuji, so Japan made their houses most of the time in a special technology where if it gets destroyed immediately they can build it. Okay. Now they need to know and they need to predict that when the volcanic eruption will happen. So it is not possible for them to send the people to check that whether there is a chances of volcanic eruption or not. What they do that they spray a huge amount of sensors through helicopter inside this volcano so that those sensors can sense the pressure generated due to the heat and the temperature. Now, if there is any chances of volcanic eruption 1 week before or 2 weeks before, you can get there is a huge changes in the temperature and the pressure that will be generated inside this volcano. And from that, you will come to know that okay, there is a chance of volcanic eruption is there. So 20 years before, Japanese people start using this technology to identify that whether there is a chance of volcano is there or not. So this is also one of the popular applications of wireless sensor network. Mind it, that time there is no way of Raspberry Pi or Arduino board or nothing else, or you don't have any option to write a code and to talk your system will talk on behalf of you. So there is no way this kind of facilities were available. Okay, so these two applications are clear to you. Shall I move to the next part, wireless sensor network? Student, is this clear? Please unmute yourself and respond. Or you can write it in the chat box itself. Vikramaditya, it is clear? Okay. So cloud computing, you know, wireless sensor network also it is clear to you, I think. Next is then semantic web and web 2.0. So what is web 2.0? Last year also in the cloud computing classes, whenever we are discussing about the enabling technologies of cloud computing, that time also I have told you regarding the web 2.0. Can you tell me? So what do you mean by web 2.0? What is web 2.0? Anybody? Kaushik, can you tell me what do you mean by web 2.0? Ayush More? I asked about what is web 2.0 and what is the difference between web and web 2.0. What is the difference between web and web 2.0? So in web 2.0, it's unfortunate that last year I have discussed all those things. Not last year. When was your CCA ADM was there? I think yes, in the last semester itself. So in the when I was discussing about CCADM that time I have discussed about Web 2.0 because Web 2.0 is one of the cloud enabling technologies. Now in Cloud Web 2.0 is basically help the user to build their web page or web application. So here the user will build, user will control the web application, user will maintain the web application, user will destroy their web application. Like Wikipedia. Now, can you tell me who developed the Wikipedia pages? The Wikipedia admin or those who have created the Wikipedia? Wikipedia is being developed by the user itself, like you and me. So if you have any information, you can put it in the Wikipedia and you can create. Tell me who has created the profile page of your Facebook account? Who has created the profile page of your Instagram account? You only. So you have the entire authority to build, control, maintain, and destroy or terminate your account. If you don't want your account, okay, don't keep it. You can terminate your account, no issue. So this is the basic functionality of Web 2.0. Even in cloud computing, so whenever you enter into your cloud site, you are creating basically the virtual machines, you are doing the other works also, but in that case also, who is basically responsible for your virtual machine? Your virtual machine is created by you, your virtual machine is maintained by you, and when it is not required, you can destroy your virtual machine by yourself. So this is the basic function of Web 2.0. And what is the difference between Web 2.0 and web? In case of web, the entire web pages will be created by the website administrator or website designer. User does not have any role to control and maintain that website. Can you control and maintain the SBI website? No. It will be created and maintained by the SBI admin only. Though SBI also have the Web 2.0 enable. SBI is also enabled with the Web 2.0. Okay, or you can tell about the static pages where the website creator only put the information inside this web. But in case of Web 2.0, you have the complete authority to create, destroy, maintain, and everything. Okay, so this is another cloud enabling technologies, and also SOA, service oriented architecture. You know what is service oriented architecture? Can anybody tell me what is service oriented architecture? Abhilasha, Kaushik?
यस सर.
What is service
हेलो.
oriented architecture?
हाँ सर, जहाँ पे हम सर सर्विस प्रोवाइड करते हैं यूजर को, जैसे मतलब हम लोग का प्लेटफॉर्म एज ए सर्विस भी रहता है, और देन सर्विस ओरिएंटेड आर्किटेक्चर वही होगा
Can you give an example of service oriented architecture?
Sir, we can say like online Adobe Premiere Pro. If you use, we can use the
No.
service.
This is SaaS service. This is not service oriented architecture. I told you the last year itself what is service oriented architecture. It's a small applications designed by the third party vendor, which is a common application, which can be used by multiple number of third party vendors, like your online payment gateway, Google Pay, or your Paytm, or your Visa, MasterCard. So these are the payment gateway which can be used by Myntra, which can be used by Amazon, which can be used by Flipkart in one side, or it can be used by the different banks also. So it is making bridging the gap between your e-commerce site as well as your bank site. So it is making a communication between both the parties. But it's become a common services which can be availed by the e-commerce site as well as it can be availed by the banks itself also. And you have to pay a little amount of money for these services. So last year I have discussed this one. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so next is your location-based services. Location-based services earlier we don't have that GPS-enabled services was there. So that time we have one services that is called location-based services through which we can identify the location of the user. So that is also one of the enabling technologies of what should I say for IoT. And another is the near field communication. Near field communication, you have not seen there. It's a small radio range communication type of thing. Means that in the Louvre Museum itself, you can find out if you go to the Louvre Museum, there each of the pictures or each of the paintings, suppose the Van Gogh painting or Mona Lisa painting done by the Leonardo da Vinci, all those critical or all those precious and valuable paintings are over there, and they are connected with the near field communication. If you goes under the vicinity of that painting, then immediately in your mobile all the details about this painting will get displayed. How they are doing this? So because they have created one small near field communication of 1 meter, means that within the 1 meter range of this portrait or painting, if you come around, then immediately information will come and passing to your mobile only through an app, so that you don't have to ask anybody to know about this painting. So this is one of the applications of near field communication. What is the other applications of near field communication? That is the if even for some information in the temple itself. If you go inside the temple, or I have gone through in Ayodhya in Bangkok. So when I entered into the temple, immediately I have a headphone over there. They have given this headphone. This headphone is enabled with the NFC. So immediately the history, structure, all the details are coming to somebody is giving me the details of this technology, of this temple and everything. So this is also another applications of IoT, enabling technologies of IoT. So whatever technology I have discussed over here, do you have any question?